Krishna, dear devotees, this is Rasika Preeti Devi Dasi from the beautiful farms of Nilachal Vedic Village. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the 7 things you should absolutely not do, no matter how difficult your children are. So first, don't belittle them when you're talking to them. When I say don't belittle them when you're talking to them is asking silly questions like, why do you behave like this? Why do you walk like this? Why do you sit like this? Why do you chew like this? Why do you eat like this? Why do you do this thing? Why do you talk in this voice? When you ask this why question, it is the children get very defensive, and they're getting a subconscious message that their behavior is not acceptable. So you need to be very careful when you're asking such questions to the children. Okay. Second thing, don't threaten them. Don't threaten them. I'm sorry, this is a tongue twister. Don't threaten them with false threats like, I'll leave the house if you don't believe, I'll die, and I'll go somewhere, I'll leave you and go if you don't learn to behave yourself. I know in frustration you say these things. I know you don't mean it. But they don't know that you don't mean it. They take it seriously. And when they take it seriously, it's difficult for them to love themselves. They're very scared, and they will have abandonment issues as they grow up because of your threats. Okay. So don't threaten them this way. Okay, you don't use false threats. No matter how difficult it is important that they know that you love them. You just don't like their behavior. We'll discuss in another video what are the ways you can correct them. But these are a big no. Don't threaten them no matter what. Even if you don't know what to do, just go out and sit somewhere quietly. Take your silent time, but don't threaten them. Yeah. Third, do not make them feel that they are a trouble. Like, do not use words like, why were you born? I wish you were not born. I wish I had a different child. Believe me, it's very hurtful, and you don't want to hurt a child like this. What do you think? Hurting them like this is going to bring a change? They're children. They're trying. They don't mean to make mischief. It's just their energy that is like that. They don't mean to be mischievous and destructive. They are not able to have self-control, self-restraint, which many of us, even as adults, don't have it. So don't threaten them and use such harsh words with them that I wish you were not born, I wish I was single, or even in a subtle way tell them, if you would not be born, I would be so successful, or I would not have this noise in the house. I wish I had better kids. They are good kids, and you have to appreciate where they are. Fourth, do not make false promises. Do not, so when you are making a bargain with them for their good behavior, make sure that you make a relatable promise, and make sure you make a promise that you can follow through. Do not go back on your promise. Do not promise them big things, even if they ask to. Like, even if they say, okay, so if I do this, will you give me an ice cream? And if you're not going to give them, don't promise. I'm like, no, I cannot give you ice cream. Ask for something else. Give them the choice. Okay. Fifth, it is very important that you respect their individuality. Do not compare them to others. Do not make comparisons with other kids. Like, why don't you be like that boy or that girl? Or especially don't compare them to their siblings, because not only it is harmful, but it spoils their relationships with each other. And suppose as a child, say one child is like, we have all watched Tare Zameen Par, and Ishan Avasthi was always compared to his elder brother, because by everybody, why don't you be like him? It's a good thing that the brother was very kind, and he loved the younger one so much. But imagine a situation where the elder brother is taking all this like, yeah, I'm great and superior and all that, and imagine what will that do to that relationship. That will spoil, and it is a lifetime scar. Okay, so don't compare, especially the siblings. Appreciate and celebrate their individuality. It's okay that whatever they are, they may not be like their elder one. Yeah. Next, do not force them to take the burden or take the mantle of your dreams and desire. You would want a child who is a math prodigy, but your child may be a painting prodigy. So don't put the pressure of your, why don't you do math properly? Why don't you do math properly? I'm sure most of the parents are not doing it in today's time. They're more aware, they're more conscious, but very subconsciously we do it. And how do we do it? By over instructing perfection. Like, I'll share this with example. There was a time where we would do children's programs very regularly, and one particular parent I saw in my group of we had almost 20 kids at that time, and this parent was hovering over the child. Use that color, do the border there, use this color, use that color, color it in the line, do this, do that, don't use so much black, don't. The very reason I saw the child was using so much black is because of this parent hovering. So yeah, it's important that you don't over instruct children. Let them learn on their own, let them do their things on their own, let them manage it on their own, and it's their creation. You instruct children only when you're sitting and doing maths, and that's why most children don't like maths, because maths is supposed to be done. There are certain formulas, there may be more than one formula, but it adheres to some set of rule. And that is why complex maths should be not included in the children's syllabus until they are at least 6 or 7 year old. And after that, you can simple addition, subtraction and all is fine, but any complex mathematics should come after 7 for most kids, unless your child is really a math genius. That's a different story. See, there are always exceptions to rules, but it's important that we don't want all of us to make our child a real prodigy. Yeah. And lastly, I would want to say that do not make your children feel small just because they have a certain kind of body type, a certain type of color. Okay. Never talk about body things, physical appearances, or don't wear this, or wearing is still fine. You can talk about the comfortable thing, but why don't you lose some weight, don't eat so much fries, it is gaining your weight. Instead of that, suppose you have an overweight child, you can tell them that why don't let's go for a walk together in the morning, it's healthy for the body. It's not about, unless that's becoming a health issue, or don't force them to wear powder on their face because they may have a darker skin. Do not belittle them in any way. No body comments. You should teach them to love themselves however they are. This is a very racist mentality, and they may be so good kids and they will have such low confidence because you have always commented on the looks. And it's not just commenting on your child's look, it's also commenting on your own self looking in the mirror. When you are apprehensive about your own figure or your own color and you are not comfortable in your skin, remember this, you are passing on this as a message to your child who is observing that, oh, my mother is feeling not confident. For your child, you are the most beautiful person. Be that. And everybody is very beautiful. It's just beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. And teach them to accept them. Only Krishna is absolutely perfect. We all are relatively beautiful, and we all are relative. Every aspect of this material world is very relative, and it's just opinions of some people. It's not an absolute fact that a certain weight or a certain color is the only ideal weight and color. There are differences, and there are books available if your child is already going through this kind of feeling, low self-esteem, because this low self-esteem will dim their sparkle. A confident child or a confident person can do anything in this world, but a person with a low self-esteem, no matter how talented they are, they will not be able to shine. So just don't do that with your children. Have a conscious parenting approach to your children. And yes, there may be times where you will be so frustrated that you say or do one of these things. Just go and apologize and correct your behavior and explain to them how you were wrong in doing this. Okay, you have to reassure them, especially if you threaten to leave them. After you have cooled down, just go back to them and let them know that you will never leave them no matter what you say. It will have a slight negative effect that they'll start believing, okay, you're not going to follow through your threat. So that may affect, but find a better way of parenting. Okay, we'll have another video where we'll give in more positive tips. So this is a part of the difficult series video. I wanted to launch this first because the very first thing you need to do is stop stop giving all these negative comments, negative things, because this is going to make your child more difficult to handle. It will not help you, or even if it temporarily helps you, in a long run you're damaging your child. With that, thank you so much for being with us. Do share these videos with those you feel will benefit from this, and like and subscribe our channel to support us. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.